Alright, so we're going to talk about my SS4 Bardock deck today. Go through some reasons why I play what I play. So to start off, it's going to be one Prismatic Burst Gogeta. This card is okay. The fact that it can only be played by using cards from the battle area or hand to use as its cost is kind of annoying. So that means you got to have a Goku or Vegeta on the field or in your hand to play him. So I only run one. He doesn't really come out too much, plus he costs 5. Instead, I run 2 of these Strength of Legends. These are super good. No crazy cost, just 1 of each energy, which you should have by turn 4. He comes out with double strike, dual attack, and when he attacks, he draws a card. So your opponent's going to want to destroy him right away. I run 3 of the SS4 Prismatic Bursts for Vegeta. These are essential to flipping cards or being used as energy. 4 of the yellow energy for Goku. I'm going to be running 4 for every energy of the Aegis. 1 Overwhelm on the deck. That's going to be Identity Mass Sand. That's just for board clears if necessary. 2 Petrifications essential to this deck, especially in combination with the green Gohans. 4 of the red Prismatic Aegis Bardock. Super good for negging your opponent's battle cards and killing stuff on the field, especially stuff that helps them draw. The green Gohans I was talking about, 4 of them. These work great and tangent with Petrification. So especially if your opponent swings with their leader first, you Prismatic Burst it, pitch a card. They can only attack 1 more time, usually, and then you petrify whatever they attack with. So this is a good combo right here for just totally shutting down your opponent's turn. 2 of the Broly Unisons. Not a lot of people use this, but in my opinion, it's actually extremely good. You have to play it for 1 if you want to get the secondary effect on the auto, which is if this card has 1 marker, when this card is played, add a marker to it for every 2 multicolor cards in your energy. So turn 2, you have 2 energy up. Tap 1, play this, comes out with 2 markers, gets 5k for each marker. It's a 20k for 1. And then his -1 is really good. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost greater than their current energy, and send it to the owner's warp. Super good for getting rid of just annoying cards that your opponent may play out, as long as they don't have barrier. And then his -X, when your leader card is attacked, you may have it get plus 5,000 power for the battle for each marker you remove from this card with this skill. As far as I know, this auto needs to be activated as soon as your opponent declares the attack. I could be wrong with that, but it's kind of the shitty part about it. But it can definitely help save your leader from taking, a double strike or something like that. 3 of the SS4 Prismatic Burst Gokus, the yellow. These are just as important as these. They have different secondary effects. The blue one, play this card from your at the end of a battle in which this card, nope, that's not it. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost of 3 or less, return to the owner's hand. That's pretty good when he comes out. And then this, choose up to 1 of your opponent's using cards and gated skills for the turn. Honestly, I don't really use these secondary effects too often. I just use them for bouncing the 2 costs. 2 of the 4 cost Gogetas. These are really good. If they stay on the field, great. They probably won't for very long. The reason these are better than this is 1, it costs 1 less energy to put out, and on top of that, you can use a Goku and a Vegeta from your drop or battle area instead of your hand or battle area. So, for example, if you super combo, right, you can use this Vegeta plus this Goku, or this Vegeta plus this Goku, or whatever. It's a lot more likely that you're going to, and that's why I only run one Overwhelm. I don't fill this deck up with Overwhelms because this is your boss monster. You know, you have 3 of them, but this is the one that really gets shit going on turn 4 because when he swings, your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and 2 of their battle cards, ignoring barrier, and sends them to the owner's warp. At the end of the turn, switch this card to active mode, triple attack, blocker. So this is a super dope card that you want to get out. I run 4 of the SS4's Call. I've used this deck with 0, I've used it with 2, I've used it with 4. I've come to the consensus that SS4's Call is mandatory 4 because it literally is played for free once per turn, and you get to just edit your hand how you want to. It's super important. You should be running 4 of them. It's essential to this deck. I run 4 of the Prismatic Aegises for the Gohans. Again, like I said before, all of the energies are going to be at 4. 2 of the Prismatic Bursts. This I very rarely use, so I only knocked it down to 2. The reason I still have it in the deck, even though I barely ever use it, is because it's a red energy if I need one. It's so important that you play a different color energy every single turn. It's essential to this deck. By turn 4, you should have 1 of every color. You cannot 100% rely on having multiple colors in your battlefield because they will die, and then your Leader's Awakened effects become weaker. So it's super essential by turn 4 to have 1 of every color. I then run 2 of the Bardocks. I used to run 4 of these Bardocks. He's great, right? 2 cost. +1, he draws a card. When you remove a marker from this card using Spirit Boost, send 1 battle card from your opponent's drop area to the warp. It's pretty much fucking useless. And then his -2 is until the end of your opponent's next turn, they can't attack battle cards unless they choose 1 card in their hand and send it to their warp each time. This is pretty good, but really he's just out there for the draw. That's really all this Bardock serves for as a purpose, and that's why I run these Brolys, because they kind of, serve kind of, they're not the most powerful unisons, but they are SS4s. You can pick them up off SS4's Call if you need them. But, honestly, like turn 2, SS4 Bardock isn't as strong as you think it is because, yeah, you get to draw a card, but you're left open. Sometimes I'll leave my energy open on turn 2 so I can guarantee that, especially against aggro decks, so I can guarantee that I can start blocking. Like either or negating with Prismatic Burst or with a Petrification or do a combo. This isn't always the best play. If you're playing against the long game, like against a blue deck or something, sure, go ahead and play them. What's the worst that could happen? You're going to need that draw anyway. But against aggro decks, this deck can survive very well. 4 of the blue cost Vegetas, the blue Vegeta energies. These are super good for playing out with the combos. You want to play these as much as possible. Sometimes I'll just put a Prismatic Burst Vegeta in my energy instead so I can have 1 more of these. Because when you play this, you draw 2, bottom 1. Super good for editing your hand and adding more cards to it. And then last, 2 Sensu Beans. This is a 50 card deck. I've tried it at 52, 53, 54. Consistency is key with this deck. It's got a lot of bases that it covers. You can take this deck to the late game. You can survive the early game. I've gone up against crazy Mass Saiyan decks and survived. Decks that'll end you on turn 2, turn 3. This deck can get you through it because of SS4's Call. This is such an essential card to this deck that it is mandatory to have 4 of them because you're able to look at the top 3 and find these Gohans. These Gohans are going to save your ass. They are going to make it so you can get to turn 3, to turn 4, to turn 5, so that you can start making your plays. If you can pick up a Gohan every turn, you can last literally from turn 2 to turn 6. Turn 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry, turn 5. You can easily get to turn 5 if you can keep picking up these Gohans and stopping them from just flooding you and just taking you out. You can get down to 4 life, 3 life on turn 2, turn 3 against some of these aggro decks and still survive. So this is kind of what I've been running. This is what I've edited it down to. I've tried a lot of different variations. This is what works for me. I implore you to try your own and see what works for you. But thanks for watching. And I also have this posted in the comment section. The what's it called? The DBS Deck Planet profile is also in the comment section, so you can click there and find the deck there if that's easier for you to help build. Thanks for watching.